10 Investigates is getting results in Washington, D.C. Last week, we showed you their zombie campaigns investigation. It even made the front page of the Tampa Bay Times on Sunday. The 10 Investigates team exposed how retired and even dead lawmakers were still spending campaign funds long after leaving office. Washington saw it too, and 10 Investigates' Noah Pransky is here to tell you how the Capitol is reacting.
Our investigation, where we combed 1 million federal election documents with our partner at the Tampa Bay Times, has prompted one prominent D.C. watchdog group to try and stop the abuses. The Campaign Legal Center just filed a petition with the Federal Election Commission requesting they review our story and rewrite federal rules to prevent lawmakers from essentially pocketing unused campaign funds when they leave office.
Paying for meals, big fancy meals with campaign money when you're not in office anymore is inherently suspect.
Adav Nodi with nonpartisan watchdog group the Campaign Legal Center said they just had to petition the FEC to do something after realizing retired and in some cases dead lawmakers were spending so much money from old campaign accounts on things that had nothing to do with campaigning, because there's a lot more leftover lawmaker donations where those came from.
100 million by one count.
That is a lot of leftover money, and the FEC should be interested in making sure that it's used properly.
Guidelines say lawmakers should give away excess funds no more than 6 months after they retire. But we found more than 100 former Congress members still benefiting from old campaign accounts years after leaving office. Mark Foley, Joe Kennedy, Ron Paul, just to name a few. Not spending on the issues they campaigned on, but spending on themselves and their families. And the FEC hasn't done a thing about it.
Your investigation may lead to some changes there, and there may be more careful scrutiny.
Part of the problem is the FEC's enforcement. The other part is the law, and Congress members are now taking notice.
If they're dead, they're a lobbyist, they've been out of the Congress for many years, they should not be able to tap their campaign funds for their personal expenses or their lobbying expenses.
Tampa Democrat Kathy Castor says she's on board with draining the swamp and wants to introduce a new bill that would crack down on the abuses by former lawmakers of both parties, if she can find support from both parties to fix it.
With your help shining the light on it, with some of my Republican colleagues who care about draining the swamp and ethical practices, hopefully we can make headway.
This is fellow Florida Democrat Charlie Crist.
But the fact that somebody would have a campaign after they're not running for office anymore, or even alive anymore, just defies logic to me.
We reached out to local congressional Republicans Gus Bilirakis and Dennis Ross too, but neither accepted our offer for an interview. We'll keep you updated as this story continues to develop. With our partners at the Tampa Bay Times, I'm Noah Pransky, 10 Investigates.